Welcome back to the Mulberry Book Drop. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Okay, full disclosure, Sarah lost her voice.
I did.
So she's hanging in there with me today, though, and we're going to do the best we can. So we do apologize, but I'm really excited that you're here.
Me too. If you find my voice cringy, just skip forward.
So I am going to start with two quick updates from last month's episode, Sarah. Do you remember how we did the binge watch episode for the TV shows?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, I finished Dear Edward. It was so good. I think they did a really great job doing like the book into a TV show. So I was impressed with the way they separated the episodes. But what I loved was, remember how we talked about Orange is the New Black?
Yeah.
One of the main actresses from that was in Dear Edward.
Oh.
And it actually took me a second to all of a sudden be like, oh, wait, I know her. So it's kind of nice to see her in something else. And then, you know who else was in it?
Who?
Connie Britton.
I love her.
I love her, too. So it was, I don't know. I cried every episode, which my husband was like, is that a good thing? And I said, well, it is for me. I like a good cry once in a while. So if you've read the book, I do think it's worth a watch. But, you know, it does deal with a plane crash. It deals with grief. But these people come together and kind of create their own family, community, support system. And you follow all the characters. And I don't know. I think they did a great job.
What did you watch it on?
It was on Apple TV.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, and then the other one is we finished Pachinko.
Oh,
yes. I loved it. As soon as it was over, I was like, season 2, please. I'm ready. And you remember how I mentioned that intro song?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I looked it up, and I learned that the creator of the show actually wanted the intro to be like in a pachinko parlor, and that he also wanted it to be kind of like a nostalgic tune. So he selected one that was called Let's Live for Today. And I guess it was done by the Grassroots. It's like a cover song or something from a British band who I was not familiar with. I think they were called The Rooks. And I went and re-listened to it. Like, I rewatched the intro. And it was very interesting because the lyrics were, like, so specific. And it really all came together because it kind of was Solomon's story. So one of the characters' names is Solomon. And if you really listen to the lyrics, it sort of ties it all together.
Oh.
I was very impressed. And, I did have an example of some of the lyrics because I don't think we can play it on here. But it was just some of the lyrics were like, I'm glad that we are all so different. We've better things to do. May others plan their future. I'm busy loving you. It just, I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah. So I would say if you're interested, go ahead and Google and at least watch the intro video. I think it was really neat. And the main part of the chorus is, and don't worry about tomorrow, which I also just kind of love because I think sometimes we all spend too much time worrying.
True.
So, but it also reminded me of something else because remember how you and I were both sort of on the contemporary romance kick?
Yeah.
And we did, you sound so cute, and we did that book, Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey.
Yes.
And the character was, like, really into music, and that was, like, the job she wanted was to do music for, like, movies and such. So, like, this whole thing with Pachinko, I was like, it really is such an important part. Like, sometimes I forget, like, the music does get me when I'm watching things, but I don't always think about it.
Yeah.
It just sort of happens. And so you just kind of realize the importance of, like, a job that might not seem like such a big deal is actually a huge deal because a lot of times it's what ties the whole thing together.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought it was really cool. So, those were my two little updates. Have you watched any of the other stuff that we mentioned or not really?
No.
Okay. Okay. I don't mind your one-word answers. You're fine. Don't talk any more than you're capable of. But do you feel up for telling us something good?
Yeah. And it'll explain why my voice is gone.
Okay.
So, I moved. So with that, I'm allergic to dust, and I was moving, and there's a lot of dust. So that is what happened. This is the best I've sounded in 3 days, so we're going to give a cheer for that. But yeah, I moved. What about you?
We had prom. Well, we didn't. The kids did. That sounded weird. But they did it at Disney, and so we asked...
That's so cool.
Yeah, we asked our son if he was okay with us driving him, because we just weren't sure how we felt about him driving on I-4 and all that stuff, because he hasn't done that yet. So the kids went to prom. My husband and I decided to have a date day while we were there, because we had a few hours to kill.
Cool.
And it was at the... are you familiar with the Boardwalk Inn Resort?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where they were. And the boardwalk is set up I think it's supposed to be sort of like an Atlantic City feel. And so there were, the people doing like the little jump rope show and all that kind of stuff. And so as we were wandering around, we realized that the entrance for that like monorail gondola hanging ride thing was there. And so I asked a couple people, like, are we allowed to go on it? And they were like, yeah, it's free for whoever. And I was like, well, but what if I'm not a hotel guest? Like, I don't have a key to like prove where I'm supposed to be to get back. And they're like, no, you don't need that. So my husband and I jumped on it and we rode it for a few stops and we went and checked out the, like animation art hotel, art and animation, something like that. And then the one across from that was the one I really liked, and it was all retro. Uh-huh. So there were like 3-story yo-yos, and there was this giant tube of Play-Doh. Like, so I told my husband, I was like, oh, you got to take a picture of me with the Play-Doh. And just so you could see how big it actually was. And then my favorite, though, we saw Baloo and Mowgli. Aww. And they were giant. They were just humongous. So we were all excited, and somebody was nice enough to take our picture with it. So, like, my husband is 6'3", and he only came up to, like, maybe Baloo's knee. Like, that's how tall it is. Wow. So, like, if you look at the picture, you almost feel like you're only seeing the statue, but if you look closely, you can see that we're actually in the middle of it.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. I think The Jungle Book's a underrated movie.
Agreed.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Do you want to share something funny, Sarah?
Yeah.
What you got?
All right. So, do you guys know, like, these Polaroid cameras? You take these pictures, and you're like, I want to be so aesthetic. And I was like, I'm going to be that person. So I got a Polaroid camera for my birthday, and I took it to Disney with some friends. And I was like, I'm going to get all these pictures. Not a single one of these pictures turned out good.
I saw the pictures.
Like, in broad daylight. I don't know what I was doing wrong. We had other people take pictures. Like, not a single one. So now, like, as an inside joke, I kept the pictures. I'm hanging them up in my room. So my friends can be like, we need a laugh. Let's see the pictures. But I'm like, not a single one. And I haven't used the camera since. I don't know what to do.
You're going to bring it to work so we can play with it. We'll figure it out.
I need to watch like a YouTube video. What about you?
Well, this is also sort of a prom thing, but it really cracked us up. So my son, he has a dairy allergy. So he goes to the prom and he wasn't sure what he could eat. And so they asked the people, like about, because there were like chicken tenders and stuff like that. And they were like, oh no, to be safe, we'll go get you some fake chicken. And so they were like, okay. So somebody like took off for wherever the kitchen is. And they came back and they put the plate down in front of my son and they said, all of this is dairy free, enjoy. And they literally gave him a hunk of tofu with no seasoning.
No.
He took a picture of it for us. It's literally like just a huge chunk of tofu just dropped onto a plate.
They literally unwrapped it and put it on his plate.
We were laughing so hard. We're like, did they cook it? Was it warmed? And so, of course, his friends were all like, I've never tried tofu. So Jared was like, I don't really know if this is the tofu you want to try. And so a couple of them, I guess, actually took a bite and they were like completely disgusted. And so my son and his girlfriend were constantly like, well, this is not what it tastes like. This is not like the tofu that my mom makes, So we were all cracking up about it. But then, the next week when they were off from school, we let them have some friends over and we were like, if you guys pick what you want for dinner, like we'll make you guys some dinner. They can hang out all day, play games, go in the pool. And that was what they requested, was they wanted my tofu BLTs. So I did the whole thing where you marinate it and then you cook it all up and we make BLTs with it. And like the marinade even has like, you put liquid smoke in it and stuff too. So it really gets like that bacony flavor.
Yeah.
And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. Like the one kid had 2 sandwiches. Somebody else, like while I was still cooking, like snuck through the kitchen and like grabbed a couple more slices that were on the counter cooling. So I was really proud of them. But it cracked us up though. I don't know if he still has the picture on his phone, but you should ask him to see it. Because it was like, even we looked at it and we love tofu and we looked at it and we were like, that's so gross. So, normally I know we've been checking in with Rick at this point, but what we're going to do today is just give you guys an update about something really exciting that is coming to Mulberry. So on May 11th, we are hosting the Winds and Whiskers Expo at the Mulberry Civic Center. So the purpose of this expo, it's actually a hurricane expo. So we would like to help people prepare for hurricane season, and we are making it a pet-friendly event, hence the name. So we do want this to be pet-focused. So our concern, is to get the community ready for any of the coming storms. We want to make sure that your pets are ready for the coming storms. We have some great groups and people that are going to be with us. So like TLC Pet Snip Incorporated is coming. The Lakeland SPCA will be with us, as well as the Florida Emergency Response Coalition. We have another Attaboy Pet Care or Animal Care. They are going to be joining us as well. The community center is going to be there. I think a couple of the local food pantries are coming. So we're really just, any educational information we can get out there for you guys. We'll have a table set up for Paws of Mulberry. So if you still need to get your pet's picture snapped so that you can get put into our free database in case your pet happens to get out, we can help get them home quickly. And then I'm really excited because we also have Lee Spann from WFLA 8 is going to be with us. So she is a local meteorologist in the Tampa Bay area, and she was very excited about the event. So she's going to be joining us too.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it'll be on May 11th from 4 to 6 p.m. And again, it's the Winds and Whisker Expo. So if you guys have any questions, or if you maybe are an organization who would like to host a table at the event, you're welcome to call us or stop by the library for more information. So I'm really excited about it. All right, Sarah, are you ready?
Ready.
This is our final episode for season 2.
What?
I know, but rumor has it we are going to be able to continue with season 3, so we are not done yet. Yes, but today I wanted to keep it fun and light. So I would rather, I want to celebrate, for one thing, because I think 2 seasons is pretty exciting. And when I celebrate, I like to celebrate with food.
Agreed.
Okay, so I thought today what we could talk about is food, because obviously eating into a microphone is a no-no, so I don't have snacks for us right now. But I wanted to, since we are a library podcast, we talk about books, I thought we would relate books and food. How does that sound to you?
Great.
I love this. Obviously, we've joked that I am a vegan, but I have learned over the years to veganize a lot of my favorite foods. So even though people like to tease me about my so-called healthy eating habits, I love food just as much as the next guy. Like, I will eat almost anything if given the opportunity and if it fits into my weird eating habits. So I want to ask you a couple icebreaker questions. Are you up for it?
Yes.
Okay. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Flautas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, I learned how to make them from Tina, our YouTube video. And literally, constant, rotation all the time.
Miss Tina works at the library, and she is an amazing cook. If you go, when we were closed down, we had our YouTube channel for a while, and there's a couple cooking with abuela, I can't talk. Oh my gosh. Abuela. Tina. Sorry, Tina. There's a couple videos with her, and she's a great cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, how fun. Okay.
What about you?
I would go Italian. I think I would do pasta fagioli with some homemade garlic bread. Yeah, I love.
I've never had real pasta fagioli.
Oh, really? I just made some and I put it in my freezer so that we could have it next week.
I've only had Olive Garden. That doesn't count.
Okay.
Doesn't count.
Maybe I'll need to make some for you. Okay. What is the most memorable meal of your life?
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
It's not a good one.
Oh no. This is fun.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys know that I had a roommate in my last apartment.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I love her to death. I'm in her wedding. Like, she's getting married soon. I'll be in her wedding. But she doesn't know how to cook. I mean, she's learning. So one night she was like, I'm going to make dinner for you. I'm going to make you pasta. I said, okay. Not that real pasta is difficult to make, but let's keep it simple. Spaghetti noodles, boil them, make pasta sauce in a jar. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's one certain type of pasta sauce that I can't eat. And I came home and she's like, dinner's ready. And I was like, okay. And I was like looking on the stove and I was like, where is it? Y'all, she put in a bowl in the microwave. And I was like, oh, but I'm nice. So I ate it. I woke up at like midnight and my stomach was not happy. It was like talking to me while I was laying in bed. And it's like, and I was like, hello? So, that's my most memorable meal. I love her.
But hey, in terms of cooking, we all have to start somewhere, am I right?
Yes. And she's come leaps and bounds since then.
Yeah.
So
I always remember the first time I tried to make eggplant, and it was awful.
I've never even made eggplant.
Yeah. My husband and I still laugh about that one.
What's your most memorable?
Well, mine would also be pasta related, but it's actually my grandfather one year requested homemade pasta for Christmas. And like we have the old metal crank where you would like, you know, and you put the pasta like through it.
Yeah.
And so like whenever we would make pasta as a family, you know, one person's cranking, other people are catching, and you're draping it. And I mean, we had pasta hanging all over the house because we thought, well, if this is what Grandpa wants, we're going to make so much of it. And we did. And then when you cook homemade pasta, it like, you know, you put it with the sauce and it kind of absorbs. So it was this weird Christmas where it was like no matter how many servings people had, the bowl never emptied. Like it just kept growing, and we were like, there's so much pasta, and it was just delicious. I remember being full. I remember how happy my grandfather was, and that's definitely my most memorable food.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's homemade pasta is amazing. What is your favorite thing to cook?
So, my first answer to the icebreakers was flautas. That's also my favorite thing to cook because I learned from Tina.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. It's actually easier than you would think. I make homemade guacamole, homemade pico de gallo, like Spanish rice. Well, I attempt to make Spanish rice. And like simple refried beans. And it's just so good.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fried, but it still tastes refreshing. I love it.
Yum.
What about you?
When I was thinking about this, I think soups. I love to make soups. There's something about like when a soup is slow cooking, you can kind of just smell it just simmering there. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about the smell of soup. It's just very therapeutic too, like when you're like stirring it. I don't know. And it also gives you an excuse to have like bread or crackers or something. So, I'm not very picky. It's weird. When I was a kid, I was not a soup person. But I think just because of like our life and all of our activities, soup was more like soup out of a can, right? And like I never liked soup out of a can.
Me either.
But now as an adult, being able to make soup like on the weekend, even if I'm freezing it, or like I'll make stuff on a Sunday for my husband to reheat up on Monday so that it's like an easier cooking day. And so like I have fit it into my life so I can do homemade soups. So we have like lighter summer soups, like there's like a garlic lemon soup that we love.
Yum.
I know. And then there's the pasta fagioli, like some of those heavier soups. I love stuff like that, or greens and beans. Chili. I put chili in the soup category as well. I feel like soups and chilies kind of go hand in hand.
Agreed.
Yeah. But so good. Do you have a friend or a family member who makes something so good that you invite yourself over just to enjoy it and you refuse to cook it yourself?
Honestly, I'm going to say you.
Aww.
Like, you know, every time Bethany makes something and brings it to work, it is so good. Like your vegan mac and cheese, your beans, the brownie hummus you make. Literally so good that I'm like, I'm not even going to attempt this. I'll just enjoy it when Bethany makes it.
I mean, maybe I'll actually have leftovers next year. Because we'll have like one less person eating. So yeah. I feel bad. I never have leftovers to bring.
Oh, listen.
I don't know. I need to cook just for you guys.
What about you?
My husband's actually a really good cook. And even though he has tried to teach me how to make stuff, or sometimes he'll like talk me through it, it almost goes in one ear and out the other because he makes it better than I do anyway. So I just feel like it's his domain for these ones. But fried rice and mashed potatoes. I've basically just come to the point where I'm like, that's just your thing. You do it better than I do. You know, sometimes with the mashed potatoes, he'll put in like fresh herbs, or he'll actually, for holidays sometimes, he'll roast like a bulb of garlic and he'll make like garlic butter, and then that's what goes into the mashed potatoes and becomes like a whole process. But oh, it's so delicious.
Yeah.
So that's his thing now.
Y'all, Bethany talks about Matt's fried rice all the time.
Oh,
all the time.
Well, and that was one of the things that the kids asked for when they had their friends over. And he was like, look, bud, like, if you have one person over, it's one thing. But to cook enough fried rice to feed that many people, he's like, I'd be in the kitchen all day. He's like, do you know how long it takes? And, like, we don't have leftovers when I make it just for us. Like, there's just not enough. You know, and we're one of those people where it's like fried rice is our meal. You know, it's not a side dish. So it's like you make as much as you can, but it still doesn't go very far. So I just need to invite you for dinner. All right. I know we mentioned this once before, but remind us, are you a snacker when you read?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go a little bit into books, and I want to talk about, like, your favorite reading snacks, and this can include drinks for different genres of books. So it's a little generic. So here's my first example. When I read thrillers, so like those mysteries where you're like really page-turning mysteries, right? So that's what we would call a thriller. Personally, I prefer coffee or tea. And I think it's because I don't like food when gore might sneak in. Okay. I'm one of those people. Like, I love snacks during movies as well, but if it's like a really intense movie, like I physically can't eat. So when I'm reading thrillers, because I don't always know what's coming, I like coffee or tea because the warm drink is kind of comforting and it sort of keeps my heart rate down. So what about you when you read thrillers?
100% chips.
Oh.
Because sometimes I'm a stress eater. I'm a stress eater when it comes to this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And chips. Miss Vicky's jalapeno ones, so good.
I was just going to ask if you had a favorite chip.
My favorite.
Are those the ones that Jenny eats at work sometimes?
Yeah, like you could get them at Subway.
Yes.
And Walmart. They don't sell them at Publix, so.
She was eating them yesterday, I kid you not.
Yeah.
And a patron came in, and the bag was like upside down, so she only saw the back of it and like that color. And she goes, are those the jalapeno chips? Those are my absolute favorite. And they had a whole conversation about the chips.
Yes, they're so good.
Okay. That's great. Okay, what about cozy mysteries? If you're reading a cozy mystery, so maybe it takes place in a library or maybe even in a cafe, it's a little bit lighter. It doesn't have that gore to it usually. What kind of food would you crave when you're reading a cozy mystery?
I'm not a big cozy mystery person.
Okay.
But if I were to be, my mom makes a really good, like, comfort meal. Mm-hmm. And it's, like, chicken and stuffing and soup all over it.
Oh, okay.
It's so good.
It's almost like a casserole?
No.
No.
No, it's two separate.
Okay.
But you put soup on both.
Oh.
So it's not like a soup.
Interesting.
It's like a gravy. I guess. It's more like a gravy.
Okay, now I'm picturing it.
So it's very comfort. So that's what I get when I think of cozy mystery.
Gravies are comforting, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a blanket over your food.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 I do love a nice blanket. We don't get that very often in Florida. Homemade cookies.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's something about cozy mysteries. Like I said, a lot of them do take place in, like, cafes and things like that. And so it always makes me think of my Barnes & Noble days. And, like, the chocolate chip cookies would be cooking, like, all day long. You would smell cookies baking. And that's, like, a comforting thing to me. There's something about that smell.
I love cookies.
Yes. Same. Okay. You're reading contemporary romance. You're sitting out on your new little screened-in lanai at the new house, and you're just relaxing. What are you eating?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Dark chocolate, to be specific.
Okay.
Yes. Ugh. I don't know. Something about romance. Chocolate goes hand in hand.
There you go. I see that.
Yeah. What about you?
Popcorn.
Okay.
I love a nice little bowl. Well, I say little bowl. I'll eat the whole bag. Who are you kidding?
You can't just have a little bowl.
No.
No.
No, I do. I love popcorn. But then I'm also like, if I think of a contemporary romance, like a setting of a drive-in or movie dates, like that just feels like popcorn to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I crave popcorn. Okay, Sarah, you're off to the beach. You got a beach read. You got a nice, light, outdoorsy book, and you're sitting in the sand. What are you eating?
Banana nut bread and iced coffee.
That's so specific.
I know. I like the Starbucks banana nut bread.
Oh, I don't think I've ever had theirs.
I like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know, really specific.
It was really, that was like so much deeper than I was expecting.
What about you?
I'm boring. I'm eating fruit. Summer makes me think of fruit.
I do love fruit.
Yeah, like give me a nice fruit salad, some melon.
I do have something funny.
Okay.
I cut up an actual whole watermelon last night for the first time ever.
Are you serious?
Not that I'm lazy. I just always buy my watermelon
already cut.
Because I don't know how to cut one up.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have seen my brother and my sister-in-law laughing at me. Trying to cut up this watermelon.
Here's the real question. Because it took me a while to, like, get into a rhythm when I'm cutting watermelon. How much watermelon juice dribbled all over the counter and down onto the floor?
None on the floor. Just on the counter.
Just on the counter.
But quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, but I cut it into cubes. And then put it in the fridge.
Perfect. Yeah, the first couple times I ever cut a watermelon, it was like, what is on my foot? And I looked down and it was like dripping down the side of the counter. And it's like, oh, rookie mistake. I forgot to flip over the part I wasn't cooking yet. And it was just like everything was leaking.
Oh,
and I was like, oh no, they're so juicy.
It happens.
It does. All right. So now we're going to head from the beach into the fall. So what do you crave if you read a book that takes place in the fall?
Hot tea.
That was hot tea, in case you guys didn't hear that.
Hot tea with honey and lemon, which sounds really good right now.
Yeah, you could use that right now. We'll get you some right when we're done recording. This might be from growing up north, but donuts and cider.
Ooh, I love cider.
Yeah, and I do have a couple of good, like, vegan donut recipes that I can make now. And so sometimes when cider's in season, like, we'll buy a gallon and we'll even warm it up a little bit. And yeah, I love cider and donuts. Okay, so that takes us from summer to fall, and now we go into winter. So imagine you're reading a book that takes place in the cold. So maybe it's a mystery and people are trapped in the snow, or I don't know, it just happens to be winter in your contemporary romance and they're going skiing. What kind of food are you craving?
Hot chocolate.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am the exact opposite of you. Do you know what cold books make me crave?
No.
Ice cream.
Ooh, I do love ice cream.
I don't know what it is. When I read something that's taking place anywhere cold. So, like, remember my book club read that South Pole Station?
Yeah.
The one in Antarctica?
Yeah.
I craved ice cream the whole time I was reading it. I was like, all I could think of these people just trapped out there in the snow, and I'm like, I really want ice cream right now.
Oh. In Florida, though, ice cream's good anytime.
It is. It is. But the other thing, too, is sometimes it gives me a feeling of French toast.
Ooh.
Because, like, in New York, if you went out to go, like, sledding or skiing or something, like, when you came back inside, there really was nothing like a delicious glass of hot chocolate or French toast. Like, breakfast food, warm breakfast food is so good after you're out in the cold.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, do you do read memoirs sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever get specific cravings when you're reading your memoirs?
Not really, but that's because I'm usually listening to them.
Okay.
And if I eat, I can't hear.
That's true. Yeah, the crunching, right?
I need subtitles.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this one, and I actually have two examples because I tend to crave whatever the person is talking about.
Makes
so
sense.
It's not with every memoir, but like a really good example for me would be I read that Stanley Tucci, his new book. I read it with my friends, and he talks a lot about his family, kind of relating it back to his life growing up with like food and all the people who were cooking. And I was craving Italian food so bad when I was reading it that I was like, I had this huge urge to just go make a lasagna. I was like, we're having lasagna this weekend. I don't care what anyone else wants. We have to eat this because I have to get it out of my system. And then the other one was, I know you guys have probably heard me rave about this before, but crying in H Mart. I was craving Korean food so much when I was reading that book. And it's like I wanted somebody who could truly make it to make something delicious for me too. Like that's how much I was craving it. Like I wanted a real, authentic, and yes, I did still make some stuff at home in my own way, but it wasn't authentic. So it like kind of helped, but not quite. But yeah, it depends on what they're talking about, but especially a food-related memoir, I get into this huge hole where I'm just like, I have to go make something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here is my weird one. This is my last one, guys. This episode's not going to be too long because we don't want Sarah talking too much today. But You know how I have, this is my strange thing, okay. You know my pet peeve, right, Sarah, when it comes to, we're just going to say it, alcoholic protagonists.
Yes.
You know how I feel about that.
Yes.
I get very frustrated when a book is centered around an alcoholic because sometimes it almost feels like, I don't know, almost like a cop-out. Like we could have written more about this character, but instead we're just going to have them like drunk all the time.
Yeah.
And like an example of this, even though I still enjoyed the books, would be like Woman in the Window or The House on the Lake. Like both of those had very, like it was obvious that the characters were drinking constantly. It makes me actually like not like the idea of a drink completely turns me off.
Agreed.
There's just something about it. Like when the character is constantly drinking, it's absolutely the last thing in the world that I would want. And I just find it really interesting how it like completely flip-flops.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah. Do you have any other ones that I missed that you want to bring up? Or I think I covered most of our genres, didn't I?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to skip real quick to what are you reading?
Yeah.
What are you reading, Sarah?
I'm reading, sorry, it's called Little Red House by Liv Andersson. And I think I'm about 100 pages in. And I'm really enjoying it.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
It had, it's kind of a mystery thriller, and it had some good, like, twists, and it really kept my interest. Yeah. So I know a friend of mine read it right after I finished it, and she, same thing. It's a solid read.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk to you about it when you're done with it.
Okay.
So definitely one to check out if you happen to like mysteries or thrillers. So the one I was going to mention today is I finally got around to reading Beartown by Fredrik Backman. It's going to be one of my book club books coming up in another month. June. It'll be in June. I loved it. I was very surprised. We have a patron who keeps asking me, did you read it yet? Did you read it yet? Because it was at the top of her list last year for best books of 2022 that she shared with us. So she was very excited when I told her I finally got to it. And if you read the blurbs for it, it talks about hockey. And I was like, do I really care about hockey that much? It is so much more than hockey. Okay. It's more about the culture that this hockey town kind of has created. It talks about the families within the hockey team. So you've got like some of the team members and then their parents. You've got like a daughter whose dad is one of the coaches. And so it really digs into the family dynamics there and the friendships. And it was so much more than I expected. I was very surprised. So I'm excited to talk to my book club. I think that'll be a really good discussion.
Yeah.
So, and then real quick, you know how I've been loving my memoirs. I'm listening to so many audiobook memoirs right now. I had all these on hold. My holds have been popping in left and right. So many good ones out there. If there's one good thing that came out of COVID, I think it's that people finally had time to really just sit down and reflect and maybe try this new artistic endeavor called writing. And there's some great stuff, some interesting stuff that has come out of it. And two of them that I'm going to mention real quick just for anyone who might be interested. Geena Davis wrote one called Dying of Politeness, which if you know her from Thelma and Louise, A League of Their Own, she was very interesting, very funny. It wasn't at all what I expected. She talks about Beetlejuice, so a lot of those fun little things in there, but she also talks about her family, so you really get a feeling for like the world that she grew up in, and who she is, and the story behind her name cracked me up. So I thought that was really interesting, but I'm not going to spoil that for you. And the other one that surprised me was, do you know who Molly Shannon is?
Yes.
From Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
She was one of those comedians where it was like, I liked her, but I didn't love her, because I always leaned a little more toward like Tina Fey, or like some, and I've read Tina Fey's Bossypants, which I loved, but I did not know Molly Shannon's history, her story, like her childhood, where she came from, and it's called Hello Molly. And if you listen to the audiobook version, I mean, you can hear she gets choked up a couple of times, and just really her family history is really something. So to see where she came from and her relationship with her dad, and to me it was so much more like, it was almost a story of like family and unconditional love, because as flawed as her dad was, like they still found a way of supporting each other and really growing together somehow. And it was just, some of her stories were just phenomenal. So I was very impressed by hers. So that's what I got. But I guess that's the end of season 2 for us, you guys. Probably when we turn this off, because we don't want you guys to listen to us eat, I'm going to go make Sarah some tea. And maybe I'll give her a little piece of Easter candy or something. And we will have our own little celebration. But we will be back for season 3.
With a voice.
Yes, with a voice. And if there's anything special that you guys want us to talk about in season 3, remember, you are always welcome to contact us. Sarah, what's that email address?
Oh no, the Mulberry Library at gmail.com.
That was the Mulberry Library at gmail.com. You can also just stop in and talk to us. You can call us. You can reach out on social media, whatever floats your boat. We are always here to chat with you. We have a couple fun ideas to maybe even get out in the community a little bit. So we're going to see if we can pull some of that together. And I don't know. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us through another season. And happy reading, Mulberry. Thank you.